Welcome back to Trench Talk. I'm your host, Koyos. I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves and what they're building.
Thank you very much for having us on, Koyos. I'm Phil, joined here together with my co-founder and brother Dom.
Great to be here with everyone.
Yeah,
We're the co-founders of EasyA and, of course, of Kickstart.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys taking the time to come on here. And I know you guys come from very different worlds. So I know, Phil, you worked at Cambridge, and then Sullivan and Cromwell, and Dom, you were at Goldman Sachs and Blackstone. What was the moment you guys kind of looked at each other and said, let's blow all of this up and build a crypto education app?
Great question. I mean, it actually started before that. So
Okay.
Not everybody knows this, but and it's not on LinkedIn, but we started in crypto way back in 2013. So I was actually a student at school, and I came across the Bitcoin white paper, started reading it, and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty freaking cool. Went back home, locked myself in my parents' basement, and I just started like hooking up these machines to try and start mining this stuff. Literally learned everything that I could about it. Started upgrading the rig after a while, hooking together, at that time CPUs, weren't really cutting it. So it was GPUs. And then along came FPGAs, ASICs. So we started way back in 2013, before actually then we decided, then I won scholarships at Cambridge. Dom was at UPenn at Wharton. And then that was when afterwards we actually decided after our jobs. So we left New York and we decided to build EasyA.
Nice, very cool. And so you said you guys are both involved in crypto as early as 2013. Crypto looked very different from back then. How did those early years kind of shape you guys today and what you're building with EasyA?
Well, I think, the really, really interesting thing, and I've been thinking about this a lot, it's a great question. I think it really morphed my view of this into just like the origins of crypto. I think back then, the type of person who was in crypto is very, very different. And it's not to say like, it's for the worse or anything necessarily. But the mindset was always like, we're here for the mission. And like when I first came across the Bitcoin white paper, I was like, wow, this is peer-to-peer electronic cash. We're building a completely different system here that is an alternative to banks. Whereas, sometimes, I think somewhere along the way, and maybe that's, a factor of maybe the current market, as well, but people became a little bit disenchanted. They're like, look, we're here just to speculate, just to come and build something quickly, maybe if they're building, and then exit, or just to come and go. Whereas for us and people at the time, it was really like, this is a new system that we're building from the ground up. And so for us, it imbued us with a very, very long-term vision for the space, which is why we're still here over, I guess it's coming up to 13 years later. And, we've been in, especially since we came back into crypto full time several years ago now, this is really, what we're just here for.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I want to ask you a question too, Dom. You worked with Travis at Uber early on in your career. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How did that experience, working with them, the mentality of speed and competition influence how you, came into with EasyA as well?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it was one of the formative experiences, I guess, of my professional career, being able to join such an amazing entrepreneur who's founded multi-billion-dollar companies like Uber and Cloud Kitchens is incredible. And being there at the sort of coalface on day one of his, newest company, Cloud Kitchens, was really incredible because it was a chance to work directly with him, really help to build out the team, and also interact directly with one of the best entrepreneurs of the century, really. It's not every day you get a chance to work with a guy like Travis Kalanick and see how he does things. And that's really enabled us to really scale EasyA. And actually, we've applied a lot of his principles to what we do at EasyA. And that's why we've been able to grow so fast. Things like pushing, never giving up, really being able to just think around corners and really sort of overcome any hurdles that come in our way. And, in the early days of EasyA, it definitely wasn't easy scaling a company from zero to, 1 million users and becoming sort of the household name in crypto and, becoming the biggest crypto learning app and hosting the world's best hackathons and getting all of these founders. And ultimately, Travis really taught us a lot about how to scale companies super fast, like we've done over the last couple of years with EasyA.
Nice. And for those, I mean, you just mentioned, you guys have 1 million users on your app, which is amazing. Congrats to you guys. For someone who's never heard of EasyA or never used EasyA, what does the day-to-day experience look like?
Yeah, so typically users, their first touch point with EasyA is the EasyA app. So anyone can download the EasyA app completely for free on iOS or Android. And then what happens is they learn about all of these different blockchains we work with, like Solana, like the XRP Ledger, like Sui Aptos, you name it. And then what happens is they actually show up to one of our hackathons in person. So they come in person every month to different hackathons we host around the world. So we want everyone to be able to come, all of the best founders, in order to launch their projects. And so we have these couple-day events and demo days at the end, and we host them all around the world in the best cities. So San Francisco, New York, Boston, London. We do them in Asia, Singapore, Hong Kong. We just did a massive one at Consensus Hong Kong. We have a massive one coming up as well in Miami in a couple of weeks. That'll be huge. Consensus Miami is going to be North America's biggest hackathon. We're going to have amazing founders launching there as well. Over 1,000 founders launching in person, building on Solana and other amazing blockchains. And ultimately for us, we want to give people an opportunity to launch their ideas. We want to give them an opportunity and a platform where they can showcase their best ideas to the world, and we want to give other people a chance to buy into them and back them. And ultimately, that's really the genesis behind Kickstart as well. So it's the EasyA app, the EasyA hackathons, and now it's EasyA Kickstart.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you guys obviously touching base on the hackathons. I know you guys are partnered with well over 200 university blockchain clubs as well. So like, why was the university route so central to your strategies, and you guys plan to continue expanding and pushing in that direction for builders?
Really good question. And it stems back to what we've always believed from day one and what we found and proven out over the years, which is we need more smart people in the space. We just need more people. And so when we started EasyA, I went back to Cambridge and I started telling people about what we were doing. Dom went and connected with his fellow Quakers at UPenn at Wharton. And that was how we originally onboarded our first users. And so gradually then we got more and more. We started traveling to different universities. In the UK, it was, of course, Cambridge, and then Oxford, UCL, Imperial. In the States, it was Harvard, Stanford, Berkeley, UPenn, of course, where Dom went for his undergrad, and then just really spread like wildfire after that. And so today, we have actually, just over 300 blockchain clubs that we are partnered with. And the whole point is, of course, there's just so many young, ambitious, smart people, and they understand better than anybody else. They're able to build faster than almost anybody else. We're extremely bullish on young, ambitious people, and we knew that we had to go back to them in order to bring new people into the space who could build those new primitives, those new metas as well that we need to see to grow this space. And so, great example of that, for example, is a guy called Walden Yan, who actually really was building at our hackathons at Harvard. He was a Harvard undergrad, and there's a couple of things that happened in between, but today his company is now worth $10.2 billion. It's a company called Cognition AI. They build a product called Devin, which is an AI software engineer, and he's absolutely crushed it. So just one example of how just smart, ambitious young people can get together and really actually change the world.
Exactly. And yeah, I did see that a small video about Cognition AI and everything that they were building, and it's truly amazing. And like you mentioned, I mean, there's a lot of hungry and ambitious, kids and students and just people in general in crypto. So just giving them the opportunity and the platform to be able to showcase their work is very, very good. So touching base, more on EasyA Kickstart. So it's a permissionless ideas launchpad. So I was going through the website a bit, and I saw, there were certain ones that were verified, such as like Synapse, Pact, and MTF. How do you guys go about that process of verifying anything like that?
That's a great question. So first of all, you're right. Kickstart is a permissionless ideas launchpad. Anybody can go on there, and if they've got a cool idea, they can launch it. At the same time, of course, we have people who we've met IRL, for example, at our hackathons that we think are building really cool things. We have founders who we're in touch with, who have shared with us their roadmap. And so verification right now is for those people that we are familiar with, we understand what their roadmap looks like, and we think that actually their idea you know what, that it's actually, you know, more legit. Of course, it's, you know, it's still, you know, caveat emptor, still, you know, beware and do your own diligence, of course. And, you know, verification is, we're iterating on it. We are taking into account what the feedback might want, whether that's maybe more projects that are verified. Maybe, you know, I don't think it can go any fewer than we're currently verifying right now. But, you know, we're taking into account community feedback, so that may change. You know, by the time people are watching this, maybe, you know, a couple of weeks, or even, you know, if it's a couple of weeks down the road, maybe that's changed by then. But, you know, verification right now is really the founders that, you know, actually all of the founders right now are ones that we've actually met. Like, for example, Founder AI, they actually won the, you know, EasyA consensus hackathon in Hong Kong. Synapse as well. We've met the founder. He's we met him actually, you know, in London. Pact, they won one of our other hackathons as well a couple of months ago. They continued building, and Merge Fund have been serial winners of our hackathons that we've hosted in Boston. So that's, you know, who's verified at the moment. You know, obviously we're continuing to iterate and improve on verification as well, and taking into account feedback. But that's how it works currently.
Nice. You have anything to add on that, Dominic?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the really cool thing about Kickstart is that it builds on years of work we've been doing with EasyA. And I think people see a lot of launchpads today. They start off as launchpads, and it's very hard for them to attract the best talent. It's very hard for them to get people from Stanford, Harvard, super smart, young, ambitious founders launching on them. And what we've done with Kickstart is actually we built it after we've had years of running these amazing hackathons, working with all the best blockchains, getting all of the best founders, like Phil was saying, from the best universities in the world. And now we're giving them a home to launch their ideas on Kickstart. And, you know, all of these amazing projects that have come out of the EasyA ecosystem, like Ignition, which is valued at over $10 billion, like Axel, that's been backed by A16Z crypto and raised millions and millions of dollars, by a founder who's just literally 22 years old, and now is making waves in New York and all around the world, building the future of yield. You know, all of these amazing people now have a home on Kickstart to actually launch their projects. And, you know, it's really an amazing thing to be able to do it this way around, because we have such a robust pipeline of amazing founders and amazing teams who are just waiting to launch on Kickstart. Right now, like Phil said, we're admitting very few of them, but we'll be admitting more and more. And obviously, you know, still keeping the high quality, because we have such a big pipeline. We don't want Kickstart to be the place where random people just come and launch tokens, and, you know, they can be anyone. You know, you don't know who they are. For us, we really want to know who they are. We want to know the team. We want to see that the team's got a good background. We want to see that they have expertise in the particular area. You know, like you mentioned, Synapse, right? That's founded by a University of Oxford PhD who's been in the medical health tech field for years. He really understands the industry well, and ultimately that's why it's been so popular, and the ideas really gained so much traction already. So we want to have the best founders launching on Kickstart. We want to bring the best founders onto our platform, and that's already what we've done, you know, in the last very short time since we've actually gone live. So yeah, it's really building on the years of work we've done with EasyA, and now we're ready to sort of, you know, take that to the next level and build the future of internet capital markets.
And just to clarify, that is, you know, anybody can technically launch on Kickstarter. I think Dom's referring to the verified ones.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's permissionless, so anyone can launch, but we also then make sure that we want to, you know, at least indicate which projects are verified, so people have that sort of, you know, confidence as well.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think that verification process is also very important. And I love that you guys touched on already having the foundation from those years of hackathon experience, all the work you guys have done with these guys, so you can take that and build it into a very successful launchpad for, you know, giving opportunities to these guys as well. So I really do like that. Now, Kickstart obviously lives at the intersection between, you know, education and token launchers. Was this something your community was asking for a lot, or did you kind of spot a gap in the market and build towards that?
A bit of both, actually. I think we started this, as Dom mentioned, very differently to how other launchpads have started, where we've always just gone back to first principles. And I think it comes back to how we first got started in the space. It comes back to Dom's experience working together with Travis Kalanick on his latest startup. It comes back to really just what we want to do, which is we want to bring the next billion people into Web3. And that's been our mission now for many, 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 many years. It's the origin behind the original founding of EasyA, and that's never changed. The gap in the market that we saw was like, first of all, starting with the EasyA app, we need to just educate more people about crypto.
Yeah.
And what we found is that actually, the more people that we can get building in the space, the more people we can actually get into the space in the first place, right? What we need is we need fresh ideas. We need new things that people are actually using. And that's why it's not just about building, one particular piece or like, saying, look, we should just, educate people on what crypto is. Like what we want is we need people who are actually building products that end users will use. Like every developer in the world is such a highly leveraged person because they will build a product that can be used by many, many, many more users. And so that's why when we broke down that billion user goal, we're like, how do we actually reach that? Right. And it's like, there are very, very, very few products that have over 1 billion users today. You can probably count them on one, if not, maybe just about two hands. You think about the likes of WhatsApp, which is owned by Meta, right? Facebook, I don't know who uses Facebook anymore, but like Instagram, YouTube, these sorts of applications, doesn't go much beyond that. The Googles of the world. So really, it was about bringing smart people who are going to build those products, and that's ultimately how. And that's why we started Kickstart, because look, at the same time, number one, we need to actually accelerate those billion people coming into Web3. We also want new, fresh people coming into the space, and which in turn brings in new capital, which is what, of course, crypto really needs in order to thrive. And of course, at the same time, we wanted it to be a fun place, right? We want cool stuff that actually moves the world forwards. I'm sure everybody here is familiar with Kickstarter. Kickstarter is one of the inspirations as well behind Kickstart. That is that anybody can go onto Kickstarter, they just have an idea, and boom, if the market likes it, they can actually then get that market validation very, very quickly. Same thing with Kickstart, right? You got an idea, you launch it, see if the market likes it, and boom, you get that market idea validation instantly, pretty much.
Exactly.
That's what we wanted to do with Kickstarter.
Amazing. Now, let's say in about 5 to 10 years, if Kickstart works exactly the way you guys want it to, what does success look like for you guys? You're mentioning it by project launch, the ones that survive and scale, or like, what does that look like in your vision?
Again, really good question. I think first of all, if we look at it from the project standpoint, I think we're going to have projects, and ideas that become worth tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. We've already had from EasyA hackathons ideas that are now worth over $12 billion. Right? We've got one of them which ended up becoming worth over $10 billion. Literally, and that literally happened within like 2.5 years. So you ask 5-10 years, I think sky's the limit. Like these are real things. I don't want to cast any shade towards meme coins. I think they're fun. People have fun with them. But look, like when you're building something that is very, very real, when you have an idea that can be huge, some of these ideas could become worth trillions of dollars. Right? We have trillion-dollar companies today, and I think that when you look at just the talent that we have, that is not out of reach at all. When we look at Kickstart itself, I think that Kickstart is so many things. On the one hand, it's like the new NASDAQ, right, where actually all these new assets, these new ideas can just be traded instantly, right? And at the same time, it's a very democratizing force for allowing all these people to get access to the best new ideas right away, whether that's actually wanting to back them or even just seeing what's a good idea. Like how many ideas do we have every single day? There's other really cool pieces, which is like, so many people have ideas, but they don't have any time to actually build them out, right? What if you can actually monetize your ideas? Like that's never been possible before. You've never been able to just monetize an idea just like that. I think there's just so many things. I mean, I could go on about this for ages, but those are just a couple of the ideas. I mean, this thing is just gonna be so big within the next 5 to 10 years, and that's why we're going so strongly behind it.
100%. And I love that you touched on meme coins, pump fund, etc. I've had my fair share of time spent in that ecosystem, and it's people want to build real technology, like bid and like support real technology. That's what I've noticed. I mean, obviously it's a little tough depending on the market and how things can be extractive sometimes. So I think you guys are starting out with an amazing foundation already. Having those guys that you guys have worked with before, but also just showing your user base that trust, I think goes a very, very long way, especially through the support as well. So that's amazing to hear. And I know you like you guys said, building up to $1 billion to Web3 in the next 10 years and stuff like that, which is a huge feat. But I think you guys can definitely accomplish that. And I want to take your time to give you guys the stage now to discuss what you guys have coming up. I know with like consensus and everything like that. Where everybody can find you.
Yeah, and thank you again for those kind words. We're in this long term, and so we have a very, very cool roadmap. We're iterating very quickly on the product as well, and so feedback. We're listening every single day. We're in the Telegram group chats. We're in the X communities. Yeah. We're watching everything and seeing what everybody's saying. We're interacting as well. Coming up over the next couple of weeks, really, we're gearing up towards EasyA Consensus Hackathon. The EasyA Consensus Hackathon in Miami, which is going to be coming up in a couple of weeks in May. And that's going to be, of course, in Miami. We're going to have the EasyA Consensus Arena, where we're going to be doing two things. Number one, it's going to be giving the projects who have been doing really well on Kickstart a platform. We have the world's biggest investors there, some of the highest up people in government. We have, I think, Consensus just announced today that Eric Trump is going to be there, alongside all sorts of other VCs, pretty much you name it. You've got co-founders of every protocol. Totally from Solana, of course, will be there. Something around that we should be able to announce soon as well. We'll be announcing some very, very cool partners that we have for Consensus. And at the same time, of course, the second thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be inviting just new projects as well. And so this is an opportunity for a whole wave of new talent to come to Kickstart and a whole wave of new ideas. And so there is a lot. I'd say, next couple of weeks is going to be absolutely flat out for us. Tom and I are going to be on the road, literally in so many different cities. We're hitting, next up is going to be London, Paris, Amsterdam, San Francisco, New York, pretty much you name it, all the major cities in the Western Hemisphere. We're going to be there, and we're going to be attracting the best talent to Kickstart.
Nice. And I want to give you the stage as well, Dominic, if you want to have any lasting words.
Yeah, no, just want to say thank you for having us on the show. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. It's going to be super exciting the next couple of weeks, months, and obviously eventually years too. But yeah, like Phil said, we've been building for the last couple of years, building EasyA into one of the most popular platforms in crypto and in emerging tech. And now we're super excited to continue that with Kickstart. And for you to see all the amazing projects that we have in the pipeline ready to launch. So you can find us, on Twitter, like Phil said. Phil's Twitter handle is Quark_Phil, and mine is Dom_Quark. And you can follow the EasyA Kickstart account too, EasyA_Kickstart. So definitely follow all three accounts. You can follow the main EasyA_app account too. But yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you around online and in person.
Perfect. I appreciate it so much. And for everybody that's tuning in, please go share some love to Philip and Dom, and check out the EasyA app and Kickstart as well. And that concludes this episode.